Hi guys, it's about 6:15 Eastern. It's about 5:15 Central on this Friday, October 19th, 2012. I'm Stephen Boyle. Well, we are going to do this morning, we are going to do some winter forecast bashing. I don't normally do this, but I just have to. It's just, we just have to. Okay, this is what this is really what I was talking about when I was doing my winter forecast. Okay, and I am going to give you scientific reasoning here. And actually, let's just open this up here like this. I am going to give you guys scientific reasoning, and I'm going to show you guys and compare this to what I have. Okay, this is from Weather Advance. Okay, this is the forecast that was out by Weather Advance, and I can tell you right now that this forecast is wrong. Okay, it is wrong, and once you figure out where I'm coming from, you'll understand. Okay, so first of all, there's one major problem that I have, and it's that they combine the temperature and precipitation together. You don't really want to do that because you want to be able to see temperature and then precipitation. Okay, but that's the least of my worries here. All right, that's the least of my worries because there's a very important part where they're just totally off here. Okay, I'm gonna bring us to we'll just do my precipitation type outlook. This is my outlook. This is theirs. Notice there is a difference. Okay, there is a major difference. Okay, this is mine. This is theirs. Okay, now, what the heck is wrong with it? Okay, this is how you can tell something is a wishcast. Okay, what I'm doing isn't a wishcast. It is based upon analogs and models and scientific data. Okay, now, the part that really annoys me a lot, they have this area right in here under a couple big snowstorms with above average snowfall, and it gets cut off right in Connecticut. It gets cut off right in Connecticut, and they don't have absolutely any snow for Connecticut. Let's just say it was going to take the track that they're expecting. Let's just say. Okay, and I'm not even saying that this track is scientifically correct either. If it were to take a track like this, which it sounds like they're suggesting, there would be snow at least here. It wouldn't just stop right in New York City and Connecticut. All right, it would go like this. That's how the storms go. All right, or at least through central Connecticut, central Rhode Island, and southeastern Mass. At least. All right, that's the absolute least. Okay. However, that's the, like I said, that's the least of our worries because there's this orange area through New England, and then we have Maine in equal chances. Okay, this is the one major part where their whole entire forecast is wrong. Also, there will not be ice storms this year. Also, it's not looking like these areas are going to be above average for temperatures. They will be at to, if not a little bit below average for temperatures. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is I am going to actually bring you back here, and I am going to sort of show you their explanations of this forecast, because there was somebody here who actually almost did comment here. So there's this person that commented, Jason, can you explain to me how Caroline County, Virginia will be colder than Rhode Island? Usually it's the other way around. A little confused. He's talking, and then this is the explanation of what's going on. Okay? And this is wrong. He's talking about being compared to what is considered average for your area. Virginia will be even colder than normal compared to Rhode Island. That's the first issue. Virginia will be even colder than normal compared to Rhode Island. That's wrong. Kudos to Jason. He's making a pretty good observation here. I have taken some notice on how when you get ridging over Greenland in Canada, sometimes the southern flank of the ridge can sneak southward into New England, but it is occasional in nature. Let me tell you something. This is absolutely scientifically incorrect, because what they are essentially suggesting, this is what they are essentially suggesting, that when you have this Greenland block, okay, this is on my Storm Tracks and Patterns map, that when you have a Greenland block, that a negative NAO will cause New England to be warm. Out of all of the things I have learned in meteorology up to this particular point, a Greenland block doesn't mean that you're going to be talking about above average temperatures here. You are going to be talking about cold weather, and it's not going to be just for the mid-Atlantic. Absolutely not. All right, absolutely not. This is absolutely, positively, scientifically incorrect. Scientifically incorrect. Okay? Then we continue to move down, and let's see here. Then someone puts down, if this Greenland ridge is strong enough to sneak into northern New England, then there is some serious blocking going on. Let me tell you what will happen if this sneaked into northern New England. You know what would happen if this thing sneaked into northern New England? You would be seeing, if this block went over into New England, you will not see storm systems coming up the coast. You would not see storm systems coming up the coast. You can bet your money on that one. You would see these storms going out like this, or going out like this. You would not see them going up the coast. So if New England's not going to get any snow, you can almost bet your money that Virginia and the Mid-Atlantic is not going to get any snow. Okay? That is the one major issue with, and people were sending me messages here when it came in terms of the weather advance forecast. Okay? And I just needed to totally show the science behind my forecast and show you that that forecast is wrong scientifically. So first of all, when you have a Greenland block, it does not mean warm air for New England. Absolutely not. If it's and meteor, just think about this logically here, okay? If it is, what's going on here is you have cooler air that gets poured down from the north. That is where the cold air comes from. It does not come from the west. No, it doesn't come from the west. Nor does it come from Florida. Alright, we're not seeing the warm air or the cold air coming down from Florida. Okay, that is also incorrect. Where is it coming from? It's coming from the north. Alright, So if you have cold air coming from the north and New England is not getting the cold weather, okay, it's almost like if you have a hose and you kink it way back, okay? What does that mean? Well, guess what? The area in the front isn't getting that water coming out of the hose anymore. It's the same exact concept. If the Mid-Atlantic, or if New England isn't getting that cold from the north, then you can bet your money that the Mid-Atlantic is not going to get the cold. All right? It's just like kinking a hose. Okay? It's just incorrect. Okay? You do not get warm air in New England and then cold air in the Mid-Atlantic. No. It is incorrect. It is wrong. All right? Now, they are also suggesting that this cold air is going to come down more like this. It's not. If you go back to my temperature outlook, notice how I have it coming down angularly. I mentioned this in my video. The cold air comes down angularly because we have a neutral ENSO. Okay? We have a neutral ENSO. We do not have a weak El Nino, nor do we have a weak La Nina. Okay? It could go at times to weak El Nino. It could go at times to La Nina. But this takes into account everything. This is neutral ENSO. And you get cold air coming down angularly. Okay? So what does this mean? Well, what this means is you can bet your money that the Mid-Atlantic, the Great Lakes, and all of the Northeast, not just Washington, D.C. up to New York City, all of the Northeast will be below average. Finally, when it comes in terms of snow, let me tell you something. The whole Northeast, not just the Mid-Atlantic, the whole Northeast will be well above average. This is how you can tell somebody is doing a wishcast. When they have just their area under the above average snow. Just the Mid-Atlantic. These storms are not going to be progressive either. When I say progressive, I mean going fast. Okay, and if you look at the 0Z GFS, you will notice that they have this storm system going very progressively. That is totally inaccurate. The 0Z GFS is wrong. What I am thinking is if you go ahead and look at the 0Z Euro, you will notice that they have this storm system down into Florida. This tropical system I was mentioning yesterday and the day before and all of that, they have the tropical system down here and they have massive cold air up here. I can guarantee you that this low pressure is going to tap into this cold air, or will not guarantee, but I can almost, I'm getting more confident to say that this tropical moisture will come up the coast and give the Northeast some snow. That's what I can say at this particular point. So in any case, this really annoys me because there are people out there who you can't just put out a forecast without being able to back it up with scientific information. Now, also, what they are suggesting is you have an area of high pressure over here, okay? Then you have a low pressure down here, okay? What they are suggesting is that with what their forecast is, they're saying, oh, there's a high pressure over northern New England, or there's a high pressure over New England. All right? What their forecast is suggesting is that this is going to come up and then come out like that. No. Areas of low pressure cannot come that close to areas of high pressure. If you have an area of high pressure over New England, this storm system, okay, let me show you this. If there is a high pressure right here, this storm system is going to exit out like this. Or even, okay, there's the high pressure, or even this. It will not come up the coast. Why? Because areas of low pressure cannot come close to areas of high pressure. What will happen is it'll come off the coast, and then eventually it'll curve around that area of high pressure. This is not going to happen, folks. What Weather Advance is suggesting is scientifically inaccurate, and it is wrong. Okay? And it gets me very irritated when there are people out there who are actually believing this forecast. Alright? There are people out there who are truly believing this forecast, and they are buying it 100%. Okay? They're thinking, oh, the Mid-Atlantic is going to get a lot of snow, and the Northeast and New England is going to get less. No, that is inaccurate, and it's just wrong. Okay? You are not going to get the Mid-Atlantic getting more snow than the Northeast. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Okay? Folks, I know I'm getting heated here, but I just needed to do this because this is exactly what I was mentioning in my video, and I don't, if I don't do it, I don't think you guys will be able to see it for yourself. Okay? Notice how with my forecast I have the above average snow from the mountains of North Carolina all the way up into Maine. And what really gets me irritated is what the heck is going on in Maine? Alright, what the heck is going on in Maine? They have equal chances, and they don't even explain what this orange area is. Alright, I'm thinking it might be above average temperatures, but I'm not too sure. Okay, so how can you have above average temperatures and then well below down here? It just doesn't make sense at all. It really, really doesn't. Okay, and then they have this cold and snowy that's back out in here, and it cuts into Vermont. So parts of Vermont are getting above average temperatures, while other parts of Vermont are getting above average snow. It doesn't make sense. Alright, if you look at it logically, it just doesn't make sense. They are totally wrong here. So what would I do if I were you? I would look at this and throw it away. I would throw it away. Okay? You don't have to believe my forecast. Okay? That's not what I'm suggesting. But what I'm suggesting is find another forecast that is better than this. Okay? Whether it's my forecast or whether it's somebody else's. Find a forecast that is better. Okay? Now, what also really irritates me is they have this cold and snowy all of a sudden stopping right here. Where are these storms coming from? Okay? You know, folks, this is, like I said, this is exactly what I was trying to promote when I said that you have to be careful. Alright? And again, there will not be ice storms this year. Okay? There is no suggestion that there will be ice storms. No. Alright. This is again my winter outlook. Okay, I will show you this. Okay, there's the cold air, there's the warm air. I have equal chances of above or below average down into the south. Okay, I'm thinking it'll probably be closer to below average. Actually, I'm even thinking that this may be having to get cut off a little bit, because you'll look at the Jamstech model, and I'm going to show you that. Their October outlook, and they're right on. Precipitation, you have precipitation type, you have the U.S. storm track, you have the northern stream here, the southern stream here, you have them phasing. There is a very strong sea surface anomaly, or sea surface pressure anomaly. And essentially what that means is these storms are going to get fired up, and they're going to get cranking, and then they're going to get pulled up the coast, and then that's all there is to it. Snowfall totals, again, at least, and this is actually going to get updated, but at least 60 inches plus from northern New Jersey all the way up into Maine. Well above average even still in Virginia. Still above average out into portions of the Great Lakes. And that's it. Here's a Jams Tech. Okay? Now, these are the surface air temperature anomalies. Now, you're going to look at the East Coast here, and you're going to be like, Steven, really? The East Coast is above average? I don't understand. You're saying that it's going to be below average, and so that means you're wrong. Well, I'm going to sort of explain this in a minute, but notice how there's cold air all the way out to the west, okay? Now, this is not suggesting that the East Coast is going to be above average, believe it or not. Let's look at the precipitation anomaly. Let's just look at that. Notice how the East Coast is in really high amounts of precipitation this year. So what this is suggesting is the only way that they can show that this year is going to be a snowy and very intense year is that the surface air temperatures are showing how much precipitation. Okay, it's going to be cold. It's going to be well below average. The temperature anomalies, surface air temperature anomalies, though, are indicating that there's going to be a lot more moisture. So, with that being said, the surface air temperature anomalies are going a little warmer because there's just that much precipitation. And what I want you to look at here is if this weather advance was wrong or was right, then we should see this above average precipitation get cut off right in the mid-Atlantic. And New England shouldn't be that much above average. Well, guess what? That's not accurate. That's not accurate because the whole East Coast, from Florida up to Maine, is above average precipitation. And that's the situation. I mean, that's really the situation. All right. I had to do this, folks, this morning because I was talking with Mike last night and we were looking at that map and it was just wrong. And I know there are people who are out there looking at it and believing it. All right? And I can't let people believe what is scientifically inaccurate. I just can't. All right? So, this forecast is wrong. You can put a big X through it and delete it off of your favorites. Okay? Now, like I said, I am not necessarily endorsing my forecast because, there are probably some inaccuracies with my forecast. But what I'm trying to suggest here is that you cannot just forecast for your backyard above average snowfall. You just can't do that. All right? And some people may think I'm wishcasting and that I've been wishcasting since June. And I don't know. I've been looking at the models and that's what they're suggesting. All right? But it hasn't really changed much since June. Okay? There are some changes that I have made, but there are not much changes. Okay? That's overall what's going on here. To be honest with you. Okay? This winter is going to be and I'm just going to say this out, this winter is going to be a historic winter. This is going to be a historic winter for the East Coast. And that is essentially the situation. I mean, if we may even start seeing some of this historic weather as early as early November. Maybe even the end of this month. We'll see what happens. But overall, what I want you guys to do is be careful. That is essentially the moral of this video. be extremely careful. Anybody can pull up a map of the United States and draw colors over it, okay, and forecast what they want. But there's only certain people that can actually forecast a winter for the country based upon anomalies from previous years, based upon models that are actually accurate, based upon current tracks and trends. All right, all of this comes into account. All right, and you have to look at it, and you cannot look at it from a biased perspective. And let me tell you something. When it comes in terms of this is extremely biased. All right, this is absolutely 100% bias. Just to put it out there. All right. Models have biases. Meteorologists normally have biases as well. You have to sort of take that into account when you're looking at a forecast. Whether it's from your local station, whether it's looking at a forecast model, whether it's looking at a winter forecast. You have to take that into a serious account when you're thinking about who's right and who's not. Okay? And I noticed the biases, whether it's in the models, whether it's in my local station's forecast, whether it's with a winter forecast. Okay? And you have to make sure that you look at that and you say, okay, where is the middle part? So if you look at a bunch of forecasts, winter forecasts, okay, or if you look at a bunch of 7-day forecasts from your local station, or if you look at a bunch of models, okay, you see where the bias lays. You can see that there's a bias on this side and then a bias on that side. Then you take the middle part. So if you were to look at all of your station's 7-day forecast, and you see one is predicting 70 degrees next week, but then you see this one that's only predicting 65 degrees next week, you can take something within the middle, and that's really the way to go, all right? And yes, I'll admit it straight out. I do have a bias, all right? I tend to predict a little bit on the cooler side of things, okay? But, you know, but I try to stay as neutral as possible. Okay, I try to. But again, just be careful out there. Anybody can draw a map. Okay, and if you are concerned, if you want me to explain even greater in depth, please contact me and I will let you join our chat. And me and the NOAA meteorologist will explain in detail why that map is inaccurate. Okay? But I believe I explained as much as I could this morning. And I hope that cleared some stuff up for you guys. And the reason why I did this is because I want you guys to get the best forecast possible. And I don't want you guys believe in forecasts that are wrong. Okay? I'm here for you guys, and I want you guys to get a good forecast, okay, and not get a wrong forecast, because I know that's what you guys want as well. So just be careful, and don't believe everything you see. That's essentially the moral of the story. Alright guys, have a great rest of your day, and I will be back later with an update on what's going on here with the storm system. Alright, I'll be back later this afternoon. Take care, everyone.